So hey there, thanks for joining us. This is the first video of our home buying series after the intro. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a video of the entire home buying process. So if you're thinking about buying a home and you haven't done it in a while, this is what you're going to want to watch, because we're going to go through the whole thing and answer a lot of questions for you. If we don't answer all your questions, reach out to us, message, comment. We will answer those questions for you. So my name is Jeff Boyle. We are located in southwestern Ohio in the Cincinnati and Dayton market. I am with Keller Williams. We've been in business about 14 years, sold over 1,000 homes. So I wanted to go through this series because so many people, you don't buy houses very often, and so many people always ask, like, I don't even know where to start. So this is where you start to watch this video series. So we're going to cover two different topics here. The things that you need to know before you get started on your home buying process, right as you decide to buy, and what the timing is like for all of this. So here we go. First thing you need to do is have your credit score checked. A couple of different ways you can do that. My suggestion is actually to call a lender. So if you don't have a lender or loan officer in mind, reach out to us. We can connect you with one. But let them run your credit, okay? Let them run a hard pull so they can look at everything that's going on with your credit. If there are any issues, they can help you fix them. If there are issues that you don't know about, because that does happen, even if they're not yours, they can help you clean that up and get rid of those things. They can look at your credit and they can tell you what loan programs you might be able to take advantage of. So there's all kinds of reasons that you would need a loan officer to look at your credit before you get started. Do not wait until you're ready to actually jump in and buy a house. Get it done early. It's not going to hurt your credit. That credit pull, that pre-approval that you can get is going to last for at least 90 days. And it's very simple to get that thing renewed. So that's the first thing you need to do, is you need to have your credit pulled. The second thing that you need to discuss or consider is your debt to income ratio. So what that is how much debt you have compared to how much you make. And the most loan officers or lenders, they want to see that in like the 42-43% debt to income ratio max. The lower the better. Once you get over that, your interest rate's going to go up, or they're not going to approve the loan for you. So that's one thing. One of the reasons you need to have that credit pulled is they're going to be able to see all of your debt. You're going to give them the income. They're going to verify that so they can figure out your debt to income ratio. And once they figure that out, then you can start moving forward, right? There's a lot of different things. Then once you get all of that figured out, you got to figure out what kind of loan is best for you. There's all kinds of options out there. The main ones are FHA loan, which is a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan. There's a VA loan, which is a no down payment loan for veterans. Back up, the FHA loan has typically 3.5% down payment. And then a conventional loan, which is a 5% down payment. You can always put more down, but typically those are the minimums for those types of loans. And FHA loan is not necessarily a first-time home buyer loan. There are a lot of different people, first-time, second-time, third-time home buyers that use FHA loans. It's just a lower down payment. Maybe they want to keep that money and put it in the house, or keep it in an investment account, whatever it is. So rates between FHA and VA and conventional vary a little bit, but that loan officer is going to be able to help you decide which one of those loans is best for your situation. And they have other loan programs also. When I say they have other loan programs, they have zero down loan programs for rural development. They have local loan programs and down payment assistance programs. Those things can change throughout the year too. So just because if you might have talked to somebody a year ago, don't assume that those same things are available. Talk to that loan officer. It's going to get the whole process started. Get that pre-approval is the next thing. Don't wait. There's a pre-approval and there's a pre-qualification. In my opinion, the pre-qualification, don't even worry about it. Like, don't bother getting it. Most sellers aren't going to even really consider a pre-qualification. They want the pre-approval. The pre-qualification is basically you've told the loan officer how much you make, where you work, like what your debts are. They didn't verify any of it, and they gave you a pre-qualification based on what you said. The pre-approval is when they go through and they verify income, they verify employment, they verify assets, they get all that. They know that you're telling the truth. They know that you didn't miss anything or forget anything, and that's what a pre-approval is. So that's what most sellers are going to want to see when you write an offer. The other thing is nowadays there's the pre-underwritten. So you can actually get, it's not all lenders do this, but most do and some do. Ours do, obviously. They will actually send you all the way through underwriting before you even go to buy a house. So once you go to write an offer, the seller's going to see that you're pre-underwritten, and all that means is the home inspection, the appraisal, and good and clear title. Those are the only three things that you're going to need to contingencies to remove. So the seller knows that they've already underwritten your finances. That's a non-issue at this point. So that's a great thing to have, is to get pre-underwritten. So get your pre-approval. Don't worry about the pre-qualification, and if you can, get pre-underwritten before you go and write an offer. Seller will look at that and really like that over a lot of other offers. Understand what the upfront and monthly costs are. So clearly you have your down payment that you've got to do depending on your loan type. You're going to pay for the home inspection, which varies around the country. In our area, it's between probably $500 and $800 depending on what options you take. You've got prepaids that you're going to have to cover, appraisal. So there are some things that you're going to have to pay for in addition to your down payment. And those they are lender specific. So they're going to change depending on what lender you go to. So you need to go to a lender that knows what they're doing. They're not going to charge you a bunch of extra fees to do your loan. Again, that's one of the reasons we have preferred lenders that we send people to, because we have worked with them, we vetted them, we know their fees are fair, we know their rates are fair. They do a good job, they communicate. That's why we send them there. It makes our job easier. It makes your job easier. Makes the entire deal easier when you have a good loan officer. So the next thing you want to do is talk about that any kind of first-time homebuyer programs or down payment assistance, depending on where you live and what your situation is. Those programs, they can change, as I mentioned earlier. So at the time that you're actually ready to go and start actively looking at houses to buy a house, talk to your loan officer again and say, hey, now that we're ready, are there any kind of down payment assistance programs or loan programs that might help out our situation a little bit? You never know. If it's there and you want to use it, use it. That doesn't mean that it is going to be there, but it could be there, right? So that's kind of the first part of what you need to consider once you decide that you're going to buy a house. So the next thing is like the timing, right? The timing, at least in our area, and this changes all over the country, from the time that you write a contract on a house to the time that you close is going to be around 45 days if you're getting a loan. Cash can be a lot quicker. If you are in financially great shape and you have a good loan officer, you can get that done in 3 to 4 weeks. If you've got some hiccups in your credit or some things on your credit report, or you're not responsive, it could be 60 days. So I'm going to say figure about 45 days from the time that you actually write a contract and get it accepted to the time that you will actually close on your home, okay? However, we're going to break that down a little bit. So before you even get to there, you kind of want to look at what are your home goals, right? Where do you want to be? When do you want to be there? Why are you moving? Do you have a kid graduating from high school? Do you have kids that are getting ready to start school? Are you starting a new job? When does that job start? Are you having a kid? When does the kid due? So all of those things can affect your timing. So what you need to do is look at why you're moving and what the reason is and kind of decide what timing makes sense. I can tell you that if you are working with a realtor that does enough business, they can help you with that decision. They can kind of tell you, depending on your situation, what you're going to run into, what you might run into, different ways you can get around that. So talk to your agent once you get to that point about what your situation is. The next thing is, what's the local market conditions? When I say local, I mean even here in the Cincinnati-Dayton market, there might be 15 or 20 different or more local markets, right? They're micro markets. One market in Butler County might be different than a market in Hamilton County, which might be different than a market in Warren County. Neighborhoods can be different than the city that they sit in. Talk to a local realtor that knows the area, because you need to know what to expect when you go to write an offer. There's things called list to sale price ratio. There's days on market. There's all these metrics that we look at and we study. And that agent that knows that area can help you decide, like, if you need to be in a house by this time, this is when you need to start looking. So the local market conditions can really affect your timing depending on how many houses come on the market, how long they last once they come on the market. There's a lot of variables there, right? If you have to sell your home, you've got to account for the amount of time it takes to sell your home unless you're financially able to buy the home before you sell, which does happen. Again, your loan officer can help you decide that. So if you've got a home you've got to sell, what you got to do is you've got to talk to your agent and find out what the timing on that might be and see if you can time it with your purchase so you don't have to move twice or you're not going to be homeless. Agents that do enough business, they're used to working with that process, the buy and sell and timing them, so they can really help you through that and answer a lot of questions. If you go out and buy something, then go to an agent that sell and they're not involved in that purchase, that kind of muddies things up. If the agent's involved in both sides, they have a lot more control over when things close, when they don't close, all the different things that need to happen to get to closing, okay? So it does help if your agent is involved in both your sale and your purchase, okay? So the next thing is rates. Rates can fluctuate. Obviously, we know rates are higher than they have been in the past. Historically, they're about normal. That's a whole separate conversation. When you get your pre-approval and you write a contract, that's when you can lock your rate in, okay? Typically, you can't lock your rate in for more than 60 days. So if you write a contract and you write it, you're going to close 90 days out, just know you're probably not going to be able to lock your rate in until 30 days into your contract. So you want to be able to get that rate locked in as soon as possible so you know what your rate's going to be, what your payment's going to be. All that kind of ties in together, right? You've got to, are you ready? Like, personally, are you ready? That's a big decision. A lot of times we get sellers that are very hesitant when they're downsizing. Typically, when people need a bigger house, they're a little bit younger, they're quicker to move. People that are downsizing, they think about it a lot because they don't think they're ready to downsize. But here's what I'll tell you. I have never had somebody come to me and say, I wish I would have waited before I downsized. Every person that we have ever helped downsize has come back and said, I'm glad we did it. Okay? There's always an adjustment period. That being said, we have never had someone downsize and say that I did it too early, but we have had all kinds of people that have come to us and said, I wish I would have downsized earlier. Okay, so your personal timing, it all needs to play part of this once you decide to buy, what you need to do, who you need to talk to. Okay, and then with your agent, create like a timeline. Okay, they can help you get your house ready. If you got a house to sell, they can help you set you up with a lender. The lender can help you get your credit ready. There's all kinds of things that your agent can help you with other than just showing you houses and getting you through the purchase contract. So it's never too early to reach out to a real estate agent if you're even considering making a move, whether it's buying or selling. It's never too early. I don't care if it's a year out, 2 years out. Feel free to talk to us. We're not going to push you, but we can help you get to that spot so at the time that you are ready, you've got everything done. And here's the other thing that happens a lot. Someone's thinking about selling a year out, time moves along, and then all of a sudden this perfect house pops on the market that they want, and they're not ready. They don't have their pre-approval done. They don't have their house ready to go. None of these things are done because they thought they were a year out and not 3 or 4 months out, right? And then they miss their dream home, okay? If you talk to an agent and you get all these things done, you start working on these things, if that perfect house does pop up, most of it's done. You're ready to go. You can write the offer. The house is almost ready to go. Once you get it ready to go, you don't have to move. Like, you can get it ready and just sit on it for a little while until you are ready or until that perfect house does pop up. So don't wait. If you're thinking about selling or buying a house, talk to an agent as soon as the thought crosses your mind. Don't wait, okay? So now that you've kind of understand the financial prep and the timing of this, what we're going to do is talk about in the next video, we're going to talk about the actual pre-approval and getting the mortgage and how all that looks and what you're going to need, the documents that they're going to need, the questions they're going to ask. So if you have any questions about what we just went over, feel free to reach out. You can comment below. We'll answer those comments. But watch out for video number 2, which is going to be getting your pre-approval and what the mortgage process looks like. And we look forward to seeing you there.